Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What's cracking around the world? I just love to know it. Today is going to be my Black History Month. Got on my Ula Bula outfit. I'm ready to throw down for Bob Marley. Welcome to the official worldwide ride with your girl, Miss Martha, www.missmartha.tv. I will be sharing this one to the website as well. I want to just let you know that as I did my study, as I did my congregating about Bob Marley, I'm just going to give you a few points about him. Bob Marley made songs like Jammin', Stand Up for Your Right, Little Birds, The Babies That Understood was what are misunderstood. It paid off. He would start off by thumping his little fingers, singing a song, Sweet Pumpkin Pie, to his mom. He must have been a peculiar young baby, meaning his mother thought and felt that she needed to send him to her sister. He started off in Jamaica at the bottom and went to Kingston, living at the bottom but becoming to the top. And so as he was meeting up in around the world, he met up with Joe Higgins and in the late 60s, and they started grooving a mechanism of called they were also Rude Boys. So they was called the Rastafarians. They was doing Jamaican music. He started off with Jimmy Cliff, and the group's name became the Wailes, of the wailing, of what the men. And so as he was doing all of this, he would pass through this field, and a young lady would just watch him and be ready for him to cross the field to go to the recording studio to start recording. And so as he started to record, the Wailing Men was the name of them, meaning they was Rude Boys, but they was called the Wailes, or the Wailing Men. That was the name of the group. And so what ended up happening is they went to J-Town. They went down for 7 days to do and play rock and roll. And as this was going on, he met this young lady named Rita, and he married her. But then the honeymoon was over, players. He was there about maybe 2 weeks, and then he said, I gotta go back home. I gotta go back to Jamaica. And so Jamaica was where they was gigging. So they began their quest. They began to anoint themselves. They began to start playing music in different venues, and they were called the Wailes. And so as they was doing all of this, they just got bold one day and said, you know, we're touring around here in Jamaica. Let's go to London and drop off something. So when they went to London, they ran into this producer. His name was Chris Blackwell. And what Chris Blackwell did, he gave them £4,000 when they got ready to leave. He says, now go and make yourselves music. Go and make a song. So when they got back to Jamaica, unsuffered, feeling blessed and anointed, they took all £4,000 from Jimmy Cliff over there with, what's his name, Chris Blackwell. They took all £4,000 and made and produced this great sound, this great record. And so as they did the record, and as they started touring for him, they said, Chris Blackwell said, you need to be on your own. But that wasn't flying with who? With the group, because Jimmy Clef wanted to just stay as what he built, stay together as a group. But this young man over here in London, the Chris Wells, he let them stay together for a little while, and they did some albums, and the albums that they done, they was on top of the charts, meaning he put them in with all his rock and roll bands. And so I believe Bob Marley was getting tired of that, meaning I believe that he was loving every minute of it, but he was thinking that he could go on his own, because remember, Jimmy Cliff taught them how to take the lead. He taught everybody how to take the lead in the band, because he didn't never want to be stuck. You know how you have one little singer, and then that singer got something wrong with their throat this week or something like this. Everyone could take the lead. And so Bob Marley had the lead the whole time, because every song was him jamming. And my baby boy Chris Blackwell, he seen that. And so they toured and they was getting a lot of recognition. But then they came to the point, Bob Marley came to the point that I gotta go from here, that I gotta go on my own. He came to the realization that he was gonna be on his own. And so he's continued to work with Chris Blackwell, and he made hit after hit after hit. It was not until two parties, I call them, we call them socialism and communism, but it was two parties in the particular situation that he had to take a hold of it. So he was doing the One Love concert, and so the leaders of the pack were fighting like what we're doing right now, fighting over who's going to take control, who's going to be the unworker, who's going to be the worker around the world to do what thus said the Lord. And so the two parties on the One Love concert, they came together and they shook hands. And so that should have been the end of it in the 1970s, but it wasn't. So in 1976, they tried to kill Bob Marley. Came to his home where all the musicians, all the people, all the families, all the children got together in his home, and he was peeling a grapefruit, and they shot into the home. And one of the band members stepped over. Bob Marley got shot, in the chest, and then he got shot in the arm. But when the band member stepped into the kitchen where he was, he took all the 4 executing shots. For who? For Bob Marley. So to me, that's the second time of him being shot at, not recognizing that it was meant for him. It wasn't meant for anyone else. That's number one. Number two, the One Love concert was going on, and so he had to decide if he was going to do the One Love concert, knowing that he was being the one that was shot at. So he did the concert, and they was going off at the concert, meaning the concert was at high rage, meaning he showed them the gunshot in his chest, and he showed them the gunshot in his arm. And so the concert in his name, it all went up in that area, meaning he was like second to none coming out there, not fully recovered, but still staying the course. And so as I dived into it, the One Love concert, I was like saying, wow, he's going to go out there anyway, and he's not even caught the killer or anything, but he was under the ostracisms of Christ, Jah. And so as he was being under the ostracism of Jah, noticeably, he would always say this in his stance or in his humming or making a song, or even before he became a rude boy, before he became a Rastafarian, before he really knew what steps that he was going to take. So Chris Blackwell gave the meaning to Bob Marley to be on his own. And so he was on his own, and Chris Blackwell until this day is still saying that he broke up the group. But you know, you got to realize that the Wailers, one of them didn't want to travel or be around the world. The other one just wanted to stay the Wailers, not changing anything, meaning just gigging under those pretenses around the world. And but Bob Marley didn't even know that he had a talent like that. He didn't even know that's why they was coming to see the Wails. He didn't come into realization that he was one love around the world. So this what made it Black History Month for me, because as he went on in his life, he did come up with a studio. He did say that technical and technology is going to play a big part in all of our lives. It brought me to the mind of him loving up on Rita, leaving his honeymoon to go tell his mother about Rita. But Rita was writing for him as well. He had 11 children. His mother was very proud of him because he had a one-track mind, and that was what? To play music. And so what got me about him is some of the family members, especially his mom, would call him Joseph. And then while calling him Joseph, one time he needed her to pray, and she was calling Jesus Jaja. And he said, no, call her the Rastafarian name. Because when you say Jaja, it sounds like you're not serious, is what Bob Marley told to his mother. But then from the bottom to the top he went with Chris Blackwell. As he did that, he was in the realization that he was one love for real. And so he was putting people together, allowing people to stay in the flat, allowing the music to go forth, not worrying about a team, not being captivated on even the money. Was rich too, and was just making money hand over fist, and never really dawned on him. He would drive his BMW to the bottom and leave it unlocked. He was careless of the one love, meaning he wasn't worrying about what you was thinking about, even though there was a hit on his life, even though people were saying one love and enjoying the concerts, even though he would go to Zimbabwe and they shoot tear gas into the concert, even though he united them to become a country, even though when he went to Africa, the prime minister's daughter, she also wanted to marry him. She was infatuated with him. And so he was, even though all the odds was against all of his rude boy behaviors, all of his Rastafarian behaviors, he was still playing music. And so this is what gets me into the realization of the aha moment of this story about Bob Marley, is that you was born at the bottom. You went to live with your auntie and them at the bottom. You lived in the projects. You still was gigging with the Wailers. You was gigging with Chris Blackwell. You was gigging around the world where people was telling you you will never be an internationally known. You had to open up. Bob Marley had to open up for the Commodores, knowing that he was the star of the show. But he didn't care because he knew he was going to rock it out, whatever was going down. And then you have to go down by having fun, meaning here you go. toe out there playing soccer with all of your friends and your Rastafarians, and you're playing soccer and you hit this toe, and the toe indicated that you had cancer. And then your demand for yourself became still null and void, meaning he still wasn't trisnipping off of who he was or what he had to offer. All he knew that he was in a hurry to get to the manifestation of what he had to do. And so what I'm telling you about this particular story about him mandating that we must know technology, mandating that we must be the worker or the non-worker, mandating that we must come together, mandating that I'm still gonna put it in, mandating with all them children, all them wives, all of the people that loved him. And so my stance on him today, I don't want to be long and drawn out to the point on him, because he is gone, rip in the spirit. But when he was gone, he still left a legacy that reggae music was the way to go. He still introduced reggae music. He still brought the technical side in through his children. He was one lovely young man, meaning God rushed him through the process because he knew that he wasn't going to live a long time. It moved the naysayers and the naysayers out of the situation. The reason why, one more reason I picked this story is because you don't know what time you got. You don't know what time you had. All you know is to live in the present. And that's what, to me, captivated his story as being a rude boy from the bottom, being shot at, putting together those things that were. As his mother called him Joseph in the Bible, as he knew who Jah was, he knew Jesus Christ. Even though when he got ready to go, he still went down in history. Amen. And so this is what makes it a Black History moment for Martha and the Martha Show and all of our constituents, is that when you know what you know, you do things that you don't even know what you're doing. When you put people together, you don't even know what you're doing. When you move on from the wheat from the tare, you don't still know what you're doing. But God's situations. And so I asked God, I say, wow, I wish he could have lived a little longer. Look at what he would have accomplished, but he accomplished it in a short time. And so Bob Marley is to be commended. His family is still carrying on the treaty. God is still working in the Bob Marley's family. Some of the people, all they can do is say what shoulda, coulda, woulda. And the reason why I picked this number 3 is that it was on a tedious journey. It was on a road of no return. It was on a road to justify what singers and musicians have to do to stay relevant, even though he didn't even get an Oscar. He didn't get a Grammy. None of that. He got none of that to still be accountable for his gift and his talent. And my stance today is to watch Bob Marley through the muck and the mire, through something of history that is left from here to eternity. And that's why I love the Lord, because technological things will be left here in eternity. So that means that it says we better be thankful about something. When God gives you an opportunity, it is for your job to steward the gift. And I really got off on him stewarding the gift. He stewarded the gift from drums to guitar. He stewarded the gift through words of encouragement, words that are profound. One love is profound. profound. And if we never needed reggae, we sure do need it now. That is my stance on who? Bob Marley, the Wailers, and also Chris Blackwell and Jimmy Cliff. I want to say to God be the glory for the things he keeps on doing. Rip the spirits as you was in a hurry, Bob Marley, to make your stance in what? In society. Happy Black History Month around the world. Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Detroit, Chicago, Ohio, Canada, Florida, Iraq, Kuwait, Iran.